Hello world, my name is Atticus and welcome back to the break room. Today, we continue Captain Whipple's adventures in these sunless skies. What do we want to do in Wolvesy Station? There are stories, there are shops. Okay, that's just this. Let's see. Explore the city. The smoggy, clanking, singing, stamping, thronging, frantic heart of the Reach. Sounds like a thing to do. Recruit the incautious driver. I specialize in test driving, but I'm looking for something quieter. I don't know if I trust that. An opportunity, the fastidious inspector. We could, explicitly against Whitlock's wishes, investigate the black box. Follow our ambition, the song of the sky. Repair our locomotive. It doesn't seem to be in terrible need of repairing. Or hire on crew. What is the state of our crew? I'm not sure. We're going to go with the inspector. Excuse me, Captain. A woman pushes through the crowds toward you. She is short and square-shouldered, in a neat black suit and polished shoes. She shows you the case of her pocket watch. It is embossed with the crown and hourglass of London's horological office. The body responsible for ensuring time is consistent across the empire. I am hoping to book passage to Port Prosper, she says, slipping the watch away. I can, of course, pay. Pay does sound promising. Thank you. The locomotive I was on broke down following a boiler rupture. The chief engineer's fault, I suspect. A gentleman fonder of brandy than of diligence. Here, an initial sum to seal our bargain. Prosper lies to the north-northeast of New Winchester. Good to know. Not that there is such a thing as north, south, east, or indeed west out here. Instead, London cartographers picked 4 of the brighter, more reliable stars visible from the Empress's new palace and named them north, east, south, and west. Londoners value familiarity. Okay, we've got 50 sovereigns and a destination. Before we head out, I would like to explore the city just a tad. Give me a second. An ever-expanding port of soot-smudged glass and bright steel spilling across a drifting, mist-wrapped archipelago. Its factories thunder. Its engine sheds ring with hammers and hiss with steam. Locomotives chug into sidings for repair or flare across the sky and away into the high wilderness. We can learn about trading. Successful skyfarers fund their expeditions by dabbling in trade, inquire whether there are any good trading opportunities available. We could visit the Promise of Days, a club where seasoned captains gather to trade stories and share advice with younger skyfarers. Or inquire about the Winchester War. How goes the war? I forget what Whipple's ambition is. But let's learn about trading. On the Pedal Trail, a porter at the station advises you to visit the nearby pub, the Promise of Days, and talk to the seasoned captains there. They keep their ears to the ground. They'll know about an opportunity or two. Visiting the Promise of Days is one of the options when exploring the city. So I guess let's do that. Old pistons gleam on the walls. The shelves are crowded with mementos from across the sky. The clientele raise their voices to be heard above the comforting clamor of the adjacent engine yards. You may find helpful advice here. This is grayed out. Probably have to introduce myself first. They are always happy to offer words of advice, sometimes many words. Four are gathered at their usual table. The masked citizen, a libertine, polymath, and pioneer of the neo-nocturnal artistic school. The bedeviled didact, a scholar haunted by his discoveries. The plucky baroness, explorer, collector, philatelist. And Spatchcocker Meg, who hunts monsters. Of course, everything out here is jolly dangerous, says the Baroness. Few risk the sky, so news of distant ports is valuable. Collect port reports for the places you visit and deliver them to Victory Hall or Company House. The more you turn in at once, the more they'll pay. Look for other opportunities on the way, advises the masked citizen. Passengers who want transport, rich men in need of bloody work, etc. Yeah, let's ask them how to make our fortune. I don't think that was the ambition. But, I mean, doesn't hurt to learn. Between them, they've carried Navartine gemstones from Eleutheria, souls to the Blue Kingdom, and raw hours to London. Have they tips? Ah, the didact says, fiddling with his innumerable talismans. An essential topic. Meg slides you a stool, and the captains shuffle around to make room. The masked citizen buys you a drink of their own invention. It is violet and foggy. The plucky baroness gives you a brisk, encouraging grin. Ask away. Let's see, do we ask about markets? Ask about prospects? Or let's ask about a trading opportunity. There are more options below, I've just realized. The host at Magdalene's needs an urgent delivery of seeds, paying a pretty penny, too. If I were you, I'd get to the bazaar straight away, put my mark against it. Meg grunts. Broker in Port Avon is selling cheap seeds. Chirpy chap, God knows why. His face looks like it's been pushed through a mangle. An opportunity. Port Avon lies to the southwest of New Winchester, and Magdalene's lies to the north-northwest of New Winchester. Interesting. Other things were bargains, and how to expand the prospects and bargains available to you. Change the subject, bid them goodbye. I think I'm going to bid them goodbye. They bid you assorted variations of goodbye as you leave the smoke and hubbub of the promise. We've got a bazaar to get to. Seeds for Magdalene's, flowers for Titania. Let's do the seeds. I've claimed it. Magdalene's provides comfort and sympathy to the weary skyfarer. Its hosts will tell you any lie you need to hear. Some of those lies require flowers. The amenable host wants up to 3 sacks of verdant seeds, and will pay 80 sovereigns for each. Magdalene's lies to the north-northwest of New Winchester. Fantastic. I do believe that is on the way, or some such. Let's hire on crew, I guess. Your voyages have grown perilous of late. Numbers and morale are lower than they were. We're short 2 people, so I guess we need something. Today, New Winchester is abuzz with rumor. A famous tackety captain has turned tail and fled back to London. Promised a generous pension and a full pardon in exchange for selling secrets. His crew are at a loose end, and under a cloud of suspicion. Will they ever find work again? Yeah, why not? Initially, the crew members are suspicious. They think you might be a journalist for the Gazette. Still, they're happy to drink on your coin, and as the night progresses, their reserve vanishes. When they arrive at your engine the next day to sign their papers, they come with headaches and nausea and the last of their things. They go to their berths, ready to make for the stars again. Fantastic. Let's head out. I guess we should probably. Might as well fully repair the hull. Hey, our critical damage quality is gone. I didn't know we had that. Okay. We have a full crew. We have a fully repaired ship. I think it's time to head out. Is that this? I don't think it was this. You take advantage of a quiet moment to pull out your journal. The blank page sits before you, smug and unblemished. The horror. At last, inspiration strikes. You need fresh material. That's the ticket. Go out and explore the high wilderness. Gather sky stories and tales of terror to begin the song of the sky. I know that feeling. Do we need the driver? I specialize in test driving, but I'm looking for something quieter. The driver indicates a crashed engine, still smoking. Like that, without the screaming. Alright, this will get you a chief engineer who will increase your iron by 6, your hearts by 2, and your affiliation establishment by 1. Well, I'm not... So, like... Okay. Maybe I misunderstand what a test driver is. I'm thinking, because my day job usually involves trying to break things. And so that's my thought when I hear test. They're trying to get the train to break, and that's their expertise. And I don't know if I'd feel particularly comfortable someone driving whose main driving experience is like crashing. But maybe that's not it. Maybe they just test drive for the standard use case. You know, what you expect the users to do. That's not what they're going to do. But as long as they do this, it should be fine. They're also called the incautious driver, though. But, like, iron up by 6, that sounds pretty good. We're going to do it. Brave or fearless? The driver boards, eager to get started. I recently parted ways with the Windward Company, they explain. Personally, I think a crash a week isn't so bad. They disagreed. Oh well, live and learn. Live, hopefully. Learn, also hopefully. Okay, but do I hit X? Okay, undock. Let's see if I remember the controls. I'm going to assume north is up and west is left. Because that's how these things usually go, right? Victory Hall. Can I go undo this? I feel like I should be able to. Okay. This is the company house. This is a very good aesthetic. I love the background here. Tackety Scout. You alright there? Are you gonna come here and attack me? Don't do that. This all looks very good. We're just chugging along. The music's getting perhaps a little ominous, but that's alright. The Schellenberger. Another scarred casualty of the interminable Winchester War. That was not the right button. A wreck. The wreck gleams with frost, its windows are dark, its engine silent. Perhaps something of value lies within. Enter through the yawning tear in the hull. The damage is so extensive that the whole chassis is on verge of collapse. Tread lightly. We have a 20% chance of success. Or turn away lest the wreck's bad luck is contagious. So I want to explore, but that's a real low chance. Perhaps we turn away. You give the order and put the wreck behind you. The crew remain tense. Will that be their fate one unlucky day? You've gained 2 terror. There we go. This is very good from a design perspective. If you run D&D, pay attention to just like the random encounters here. Because that's a good, interesting choice. There's a lot of danger, but there's a lot to gain. I'm already kind of low on fuel. I've got 2 more barrels, but is that going to be enough? At the moment, I feel confident in leaving the wreckage behind. But perhaps it could have had fuel that would have made my journey possible. I don't know how far I'm going. I don't know where I am. What's it? F to send out the scouts. What do you got for me? Oh, what's this? There is a station there to the right. Perhaps I went too far west. Let's go check it out. I should definitely be scanning the scouts out more because I don't know where anything is. Driving blindly. Low on supplies. See? Magdalene's, a place of peace, contemplation, and rest. The driver twitches miserably. Well, this was one spot we wanted to reach. This has significantly reduced your terror. Fantastic. Your crew are always thankful to find another place of relative safety in the skies, however strange or full of devils or covered in mushrooms. Okay. A stopped clock. The fastidious inspector approaches you in the galley. Captain, good day. I notice your ship's clock had stopped. Perhaps you'd permit me to repair it? She has a little case of tools and a hopeful expression. Yeah, I do prefer things to be right more than twice a day, if possible. An opportunity for conversation. She gives a grateful flicker of a smile and sets to work. Soon she has the back off the clock and has spread tiny cogs across the galley table. Obscure horological tools gleam brassily among them. Everything has a place. I appreciate the opportunity to keep myself busy. Staring too long at the stars is harmful to the temperament. Alright. The fastidious inspector has a round face, brown eyes, and short dark hair. She gives the impression of being perpetually busy. We can inquire about her work, discuss the reach, compliment her skills. What's this? Unlocked when you have the fastidious inspector. Oh, okay. Or bid her good evening. Let's inquire about her work. She sniffs. It is of fundamental importance that 10 o'clock on the 2nd of June in one corner of the Empire occurs at the same time as 10 o'clock on the 2nd of June in the opposite corner. How is an empire to function if it can't agree what day it is? Unfortunately, the process is complicated by the fact that time is less reliable than it was. The hours trade has seen to that. That's very true. one of the first Roman calendars was seasonal, more than anything else, relying perhaps on the stars or just the condition of the Earth to tell what day it was, or more aptly, what month. And months could have any number of days, between like 16 and 39, depending on, again, the condition of the Earth, the stars, things not as perhaps reliable as the calendars of today, though they were perfectly reliable for their needs then. But as the empire grows, and the time that the Earth is ready for planting, or some stars become visible in the sky, changes across latitudes and longitudes, and your calendars very quickly become out of sync, and someone having a meeting at 10 o'clock on the 2nd of June might show up on an entirely different day than the other people in the meeting, just because their calendars aren't synced. So what I'm saying is I've done an alarming amount of research into calendars lately, and this speaks to me now. The festivities... Oh, I already said that. I'll compliment her skills. Thank you, she says, a small, embarrassed silence. It's possible the inspector is pleased. It's rather hard to tell. Let's ask about the hours trade. You've heard the Empress awards her favorites with gifts of years to extend their lives, and that you can become rich mining for hours to satisfy London's hunger for them. Oh, hours have more uses than that. We use them to increase the efficiency of work worlds, to speed journeys to distant regions, to resolve overcrowding in prisons. It does make my life more difficult when time knots and stretches like wool on the loom. More difficult, but more vital. Her Majesty seized a great trove of them when she assumed the throne of hours, and now even more have been found in the Reach. Miners dig them from the ground. She looks momentarily wistful. I hope someday to retire with a modest pension of years myself, to prolong the better part of my retirement. What an interesting concept. Let's bid her good evening. We've got port to make. And to you, Captain. I think I shall make a cup of tea. Alright, the House of Small Comfort. Treat your nightmares. Treat your terror. Interesting. Magdalene's is the closest thing many Skyfarers have to a home. It offers services to alleviate the strain of life spent too close to the stars. Shops. Ah, yes, seeds for Magdalene's. Oh no. I was supposed to get seeds and then bring them here. I've made terrible mistakes. Okay, I think I have to go south to buy the seeds and then come back here. Ooh, fuel. Let's restock. I don't have the money to restock that much. Halfway should be fine. A jumble of undistinguished souls. That's alarming. Can I sell anything? No, I don't want to sell any of that. The glass spires of Magdalene's pierce the clouds like swords. Shadowed figures can be seen moving through the gleaming corridors, their identities obscured by the hued glass. Crowds of Skyfarers, ministry officials, and merchants mill about the forecourt in varying degrees of distress. All watch the clock set in the great clock tower, waiting for their appointed hour. Let's write a port report. Magdalene's is a popular destination. Someone will no doubt be interested to know how things are here, and who has been seen here. Magdalene's is abuzz with activity. Barely has the clock chimed, then a clamor goes up at the front desk. Guests rushing to and from appointments. Lord Blank was seen in conversation with the amenable host. The East Wing was closed for general access all day. A certain distinguished admiral was seen with his second-in-command entering one of the chambers of regret. Several guests succumbed to an excess of sentimentality and were forcibly removed. All right. Let's see. Speak with an attendant. The staff at Magdalene's promised treatments for the deleterious effects of the high wilderness. Loneliness, desperation, folly, regret, love. Or we can seek a meeting with the amenable host. There may be business to discuss with them. I want to do that after I've delivered the seeds, I think. And this is not letting me. I need to supply 3 or more. I have none. Let's head northward. That looks cold. Very, very chilly up here. Honestly, that regions can look so distinct with a sparse amount of set dressing is kind of impressive. Can't tell if they're like actively fighting. You found a horror! One of the more disturbing landmarks. Miners dug too deep into this world, disturbing a disgruntlement of cantankerity. Don't linger. Your terror will increase more quickly than usual as long as you remain near it. That's alarming. What do you got for me? Something that glisters. And a horror. So we could potentially get stuff there. I'm gonna head up to this question mark first, though, for better or worse. Reluctantly, your bat confesses to having found something. Reluctantly? Yeah, yeah. That makes sense. Wrong button. Let's go. Oh, thank you, whale. I'm sorry I shot at you earlier. We're gonna die. I've made mistakes. A rupture. With a groan like a dying whale. How dare you? Your locomotive's hull buckles. Your hull has fallen to zero. Your captain is dead. Oh no. Captain Whipple. The hull cracks, the sky pours in. An end. The cold takes you. Well, that was something. Not all is lost. They managed to reclaim Orpheon. Spatchcock reclaimed locomotive. The bank, after funeral expenses, passed on what was left from their estate. Though possibly inaccurate, a copy of your predecessor's chart was discovered. When all this is done, you will be a wiser person than the previous captain started out as. You will receive 29 money. A partial chart will start at level 1. Alright. Random captain. An academic. Perhaps you were educated at one of the esteemed colleges of Benthic or Somerset. Perhaps you taught yourself through trial and error and grit. But what was your field of study? The language of the heavens. Since London moved to the stars, understanding the celestial tongues has gone from a reckless indulgence to an urgent necessity. The risks, however, madness and combustion, are substantial. Fame. For centuries, people have launched themselves into the unknown in the hope of making a name for themselves. You're sure you'll succeed. After all, you never heard of anyone who didn't. Our name is Belle. We have a lovely hat and goggles, I think. 10 iron, 17 heart, 25 eyes, and 10 sneak. Well, that's gonna do it for this episode. Thank you for joining me. I have been Atticus. I did that backwards, but that's okay. Tomorrow, Legend of Heroes. Next Sunday, we're gonna keep playing this, because even though we've had a game over, I'm enjoying it, and I'd like to keep playing. But until then, I have been Atticus. Thank you for joining me, and goodbye.